you have to plan. It has to go straight to the heart of Nigeria's constitution. And right now, policing sits, should I say, exclusively in the federal government's list. And that means only the center, only the federal government has the legal authority to run a police force. So we want to see how to change that. How are we going to change that? And to change that, we have to start talking about constitutional amendments. We have to go back to the constitution and see what we are going to rearrange, and that is not a minor one. It's something we have to sit with all states involved, see how to decentralize power so it won't be channeled at just the federal government. And in Nigeria, constitutional amendments require, we should know, 2/3 of the National Assembly. It has to pass for approval, pass through assent, pass for approval before it gets to assent, and from at least, should I say, 24 state houses, it has to pass through all of these stages. And that is not a small political hurdle. It needs time. It needs, like I say, strategic moves. It needs intention too. It needs serious intention. We have to be intentional about it. And because we have seen amendments, not just in the police force, we've seen amendments in different other things. It has taken years, taken months, taken years, and then the next thing we hear that we don't hear about it again. That is because lawmakers have not sat down properly to, negotiate across different party lines, across different regional lines, across different states, across even political interests too. At this point in time, needs to come in not political interest per se. Political calculations rather needs to come into play. So from where I stand, I'll just say this reform will only test whether our political class truly believes in decentralization, because we're seeing what is happening with allowing BVAS and IREV rollout for electronic transmission of results. We're seeing these ones. The House is divided. Majority are going for it shouldn't. There shouldn't be an electronic transmission of results, and then we're faulting it to a dysfunctional system that we should think of putting in place. So when all of this talks like this come up, I'm just thinking of how let us come as one. All the political leaders should have the same interest, should understand that decentralization of power, especially when it comes to state security or national security, is very, very important at this point in time. Or we'll just end up talking about it based off people's own convenience, and then we'll start having divided interests. And also, political parties or political leaders rather have to come with, like I said, again, going back to genuine interest. It's good. We should think of genuine interest. Genuine interest is very important at this point in time as well. But I just feel like this shouldn't be another bargaining chip, because as we've begun to talk about this, it's going to end up being, you're going to hear we have to draw the process, we have to do these amendments and whatnot. But I just feel like it's very simple. We just need a constitutional amendment, and all political leaders need to be in alignment.
Interesting. Can I actually start by saying I'm very, very surprised that this is not a matter of national urgency and importance for Nigeria, because we saw what was done with the Electoral Act and the bill that was swiftly passed by the two houses, and also ascended by the president as well. And we saw how fast that process was. But when it comes to things that actually matter for the country, when it comes to things that concerns the lives and properties of the people that you're governing over, we continue to have debates like this. President Tinubu has said before he came in that he would allow state policing. He has said when American presidents started to talk about Nigeria, when he prescribed Nigeria as a country or particular concern, he mentioned that he was going to allow for state policing. At different fora, he has mentioned time and again that he would allow for state policing. When are we going to stop hearing, I will allow for state policing, and start seeing the state policing system being put into place? You talked about the constitutional amendments. That has to be done. And it's also very surprising to me that we have a Senate that has the responsibility of oversight. And you've seen the multifaceted and the multi-layered security challenges that Nigeria is facing. Our policing system is stretched to thin. our military, they're supposed to be providing security to our land borders, to strategic areas, have been deployed to quell protests, to quell issues around banditry, around the community and all of that. We're supposed to be under the purview of police system in a state. So you stretch the military, you stretch the police force, you stretch the paramilitary, and at the end of the day, you're not getting the right reforms. People are still being kidnapped en masses. Communities are still being razed to the ground. People are still being hacked to death in their farms. People are still, open grazing is still going about, where it is leading to clashes between farmers and herders in the country. The multiplicity of security challenges that we face in the country is too much. We lose thousands of people a year to insecurity, and the National Assembly is not even bringing the bill. If the federal government, if the presidency would not sponsor that bill at the National Assembly, why can't any senator bring it up and sponsor it and pass it into law? And if the president refuses, and then you vote 2/3 majority to ensure that we enact that law into our own country, and ensure we have state policing, because this is a matter of do or die. This is a matter of life and death for us in the country. And then we have different quarters. You talked about the political considerations and interest that needs to be brought into play. We've seen the Executive Council, and we've seen different members of political parties also support. Atiku supported this during the 2023 election. Peter Obi supported this. A lot of people supported the different political affiliations, and even diverse political parties have also come up to that injunction that this is what we want to do, this is what we want to achieve for the country, and without us enacting this, without us putting the right things into place, we will not achieve it at the end of the day. Then after we've been able to do that, we'll look at the issue of funding, we look at the issue of arms as well. Can we actually allow that? There are issues about secession in the country, there are issues about governors becoming rogue and taking over power in their state without listening to the federal government. But we cannot actually continue to say that, oh, the threat of somebody going rogue, the threat of somebody saying that they want to secede from Nigeria will stop us from doing the right thing. The threat of somebody kidnapping or coming into my house will stop me from going out to go and buy what I need to go. That is not a case for us in the country. So we need to begin to put all of the right things in place, so that at the time when we are putting the law there at the National Assembly, states are also looking at what they can do, the resources that they can put. Mind you that governors are chief security officers of their state, and the lives and property of the citizens in their state depend on the actions that they take. They can't give instructions to Commissioner of Police in their state. The Commissioner of Police has to call the IGP to tell them that this is what the governor wants, this is what the governor wants me to say. We saw the altercation that happened between Sanwo-Olu and the police system in Lagos. How they say, oh, I'm going to call you Oga. Why can't a governor be able to actually deploy security forces where necessary? So at the end of the day, it will relieve our military. It will relieve them so that they can focus on the real issue of terrorism in the country. And when these institutions, when this state policing is being enacted as well, we need to look at how can we ensure that it actually serves the people, and governors are not using it to oppress. Because we've seen many governors where you can't speak, when journalists are being arrested, when people who have dissenting voices are being picked up at the middle of the night and locked up. So imagine those people where you give them a police system that has guns and they can control it or whatever they like. So how can we rest assured? So those are the challenges that we must be able to look into, and those are the things that the National Assembly must all put into place, that the federal government should have the power to nationalize any security from any state or any local government, that they will respond only to the federal government in case of emergency or in case of a governor going rogue in the country. But we cannot continue to dial back and say that we'll allow this to happen, we'll allow this to happen. Let us see the actions that are taking place. When you wanted to pass the law for electoral reform, you knew what you did, you knew where to take it to, and it's actually worked for you. So the things that actually work for Nigeria, let us see actions being backed by words, being backed by action, not words alone, because this has been said time and again and we haven't seen anything done.
There's a lot to be done here. I mean, you mentioned something about funding, and this is something that many of us have avoided, because we just feel like money is somewhere there in government, anything that concerns government, there's money somewhere. But when we talk about state policing too, we also have to put it into expenses into consideration, because security is very expensive. Very expensive. We're talking of training. We're talking of buying weapons. We're talking of forensic labs too. We're talking of trainings. We're talking of communication systems. We're talking of vehicles. We're talking of salaries too, because the welfareism of the workers is very, very important, because if that doesn't go well, it can affect every other aspect. We're talking of pensions. Very important too. And all these things are not small when it comes to, they're not small budget items. We need to understand. So when many Nigerians, because right now many Nigerian states are struggling to even pay salaries without federal allocation.
But they say
from
ABUJA,
they can buy vehicles. But they can buy vehicles, and they can go and give budget.
They can send people to Hajj and send people to
different places.
Is it Israel or what do they? Some people send put money together and send people there. So they can find money for whatever they want to. They can find money to buy private jets and rob legs. So they have the money. Money should not be an issue for them.
At all. Money should not be an issue at all.
Security votes as well. What is being given to them for security issues, they should use it.
That came to my mind is about revenue we generate internally. Revenue each state generates. This is that time that, because I think there's a data that I saw that that several states in Nigeria generates less than 20% of what do they call it? Their revenue internally. So I'm just thinking
allocation from the
they depend heavily on federal monthly, not just even yearly, not even budgets. This time is not even budget. They depend monthly for federal allocation. So if state police now comes into play, if state police becomes a reality now, will those states truly have that fiscal strength to back or maintain this state policing we are talking about, maintain that professional standard we want to, because it's not just, that's why I say security is very expensive. It's not just talking about state policing, it's about making the profession very standard to meet up with the needs of every state, because what we cannot afford at this point in time is all of those uneven security quality, all those how would I even put it? Because if we maintain, if we manage, if we maintain, if we fund this state policing we are talking about with, say, modern equipment, with the right training, with officers are being paid well, we will not have to be compared to talk about all of this, worry about what we should do, what the police should not do. If somebody is fed well, if a worker is fed well, if a worker is paid well, you won't even tell the person to do their job.
You won't tell the person to do their job. And might I add as well that when you talked about there is no money, I think we've allowed for mismanagement for too long. We're seeing governors that are buying vehicles for lawmakers, that are buying vehicles for different kind of people, that are budgeting billions of naira to purchase furniture, table like this that they sit down on in their office. Why can't you purchase from, they're buying Swiss design, they're buying Turkish design. Why can't you go to Nigerian carpenters or furniture maker and tell them this is the design I want at the federal house. At the end of everything? We spend money on unimportant things in this country, and when it comes to important things, we see that we don't have money. Also, when it comes to security issue, when there's a good level of security within a state, it also boosts the economic activities, because farmers will be able to have that confidence to say that I can go to my farm even at night and not worry that somebody will come and kill me there. So when you boost economic, when there's safety in the country, it also attracts investment into those sectors, into the agricultural sector, into the mining sector, into the production and manufacturing sector as well. So a lot of people find that safety net that they can go into this particular state and actually do a lot of things. Why people are rushing into Lagos? Because it actually provides a sense of security for people. There's a sense of ownership where I feel that I belong to a particular state and my life is being protected. When there's an emergency, to some certain degree, they're able to deploy respondents to solve those crises or those challenges, but we don't have that in other states. How do you make sure the state is economically viable to attract investors? Even when investors come into Nigeria, they're looking at where to invest, and they see one Sambisa forest. Will they go and put their listing there? But if you have a Sambisa forest that is flourishing with different species of plants. You can have agriculture, you can have people from botany come there and say they want to invest in all of the trees that are there, to invest in the plants. I mean, all sorts of economic activities will actually be able to manifest when we have a secured country, or when a particular state is secured. So the argument that if you are spending money on this, then it's going to leave money away from what we can do with other things. We have the right money, we have the right thing. When money has been spent, we look at, I can't remember the particular, was it Nigeria as well, where the money that has been released for education is not even enough for what has been released to roof the Aso Rock with solar. So look at what we're talking about at the end of the day. They have their own priority rights. They must get the priority rights when it comes to security.
Very important. And even looking at I think the UN says is how is it 1 police to 450, and we just have up to, I think, 370,000 police
for 250 million Nigerians.
250 million Nigerians. Is it even 250 million Nigerians? No, more than 250 million Nigerians.
The political census is also a political matter.
It's a political matter, because this also touches on the very core of even Nigeria's federalism. Because I think since 1999,
do we really practice a true federal system in Nigeria? Do states continue to dominate their own and use their resources?
We've operated before, I think sometimes in 1999 on this kind of centralized system before, despite all of all issues, because there's no time we've not faced issues. But I just feel that's where we still go back to revenue, talking about policing, even all of this making certain infrastructure decisions is very, very important, because leaning towards ABUJA alone will not solve the problem. That's the reason why I brought about generating revenue internally. What can we do with what a state generates too? All of these things can go back to assisting state policing, because state police will shift power significantly. Let's know that we are battling with insecurity right now in the country. We know what we are going. So this is the perfect timing to bring this kind of initiative to play, to bring this kind of reform in the police system. Employ more police. When we mean employ, we're not saying those ones that we just put. If you have because there's somebody I know.
Roadside police officer, charger.
Police is the force. The police force is where they throw all the stubborn, all the bad eggs in the family, and which is not good, but that is what we are seeing over time. So it shouldn't be
that's the perception. If you tell somebody my husband is a police, or my wife is a police officer, or my brother is, my dad is a police,
I mean,
it's a joke online. If you have a police officer, just go and wash your head. If you have a police officer as your primary member, go and wash your head, because there's a cause following you. That's a perception that we must change. That is a perception that we must change, and we cannot change it with the bad eggs that we have there already now. We must change it with a new system. And what you mentioned about having the right gadget, having the right training, having the right intelligence, having the right system that works for them, is just not to put uniform in people's neck and risk their life. That go and protect people in the road, go and protect them, without actually adequately fitting them with the right gadget, or fitting them with the right training, or giving them the right intelligence. You can't just push people, give them carry baton and go on the street and be controlling traffic. And that is not what we want. We want a security that is actually responsive. We want a security that is also proactive, because most of our security architecture is geared towards being responsive alone. Something is happening somewhere, come out, stop it. That's also part of the security system. But security, it goes beyond that. You should look at issues that would actually occur. That is where intelligence comes in. You see something like, okay, bomb blast is going to happen here. You've got gathered intelligence and you pursue it. But when it comes to coup happening in Nigeria, that is where they get intelligence. They get intelligence right when coup is about to happen. And when we reported that there was a coup report, they said, no, there was no coup report. And now they've come out to tell us that some people have been arrested, other people are still being chased, all about. But when it comes to the list that was submitted by Turkey and other international partners to Nigeria, these are actually collaborators or sponsors of terrorists in Nigeria, we don't see them being prosecuted or being chased after. So they know what they are doing. They can't complain. Any excuses that they bring to this table, will shut it down for them. And that is what we are going to do, because we must continue to understand that lives and properties of Nigeria is your primary responsibility before anything else. So if you failed in that responsibility, as I say, you are bringing economic development, you are bringing this, it's not who's alive that would say that they are benefiting from the economic reforms that you're instituting or you're bringing. So a lot has to be done, really. Well, we'll go on a quick break now, and we'll bring our senior analyst, who is also going to help us to look into the conversation and share his own expert opinion. Stay with us, don't go nowhere.
Enhancing cybersecurity. As cyber attacks grow more sophisticated, cybersecurity technologies are evolving to defend against them. AI-driven threat detection systems, zero-trust architectures, and advanced encryption methods are becoming the new norm. However, keeping up with rapidly evolving threats is a challenge, especially for industries that handle sensitive data like finance and healthcare. The cybersecurity market is expected to reach $248.26 billion by 2024. But the constant need for innovation and adaptation means businesses need to stay vigilant. Human augmentation. Human augmentation is enhancing human abilities through exoskeletons, wearable technology, and brain-computer interfaces. For instance, exoskeletons are helping individuals with mobility challenges walk again, while brain-computer interfaces allow users to control devices with their thoughts. However, concerns around accessibility and privacy remain. The market for human augmentation is expected to grow to $298.5 billion by 2027, driven by demand in healthcare, defense, and personal productivity tools. Industry cloud platforms. Industry cloud platforms offer tailored solutions for specific industries such as healthcare, finance, and manufacturing. These platforms provide specialized tools to meet regulatory compliance requirements while boosting operational efficiency. For example, healthcare cloud platforms streamline patient data management and support care coordination. However, the challenge lies in ensuring data security and interoperability between platforms. The market for industry cloud platforms is expected to reach $83 billion by 2025. Internet of Things, IoT. The Internet of Things, IoT, is all about creating a connected network of physical devices, from smart refrigerators to industrial sensors that collect and exchange data. IoT applications are driving efficiency in industries like healthcare, manufacturing, and transportation, but security vulnerabilities are a growing issue. With more devices getting connected, cyber attacks targeting IoT systems have surged. Despite these challenges, the IoT market is forecasted to reach $1.6 trillion by 2025, making it a pivotal technology in smart homes, cities, and industrial processes. Machine customers. Machine customers are AI systems that can make autonomous purchasing decisions on behalf of businesses or individuals. These systems analyze data, predict needs, and place orders without human intervention. For example, AI-powered chatbots can reorder supplies for a company when stock runs low. While this trend improves efficiency, it raises concerns about control and accountability over automated processes. As companies explore this concept further, B2B and B2C transactions will increasingly rely on machine customers. Quantum computing. Quantum computing is still in its infancy, but has the potential to revolutionize industries that require massive computational power. Unlike traditional computers, quantum computers use quantum bits, or qubits, which can process a vast number of possibilities simultaneously. This makes quantum computing particularly valuable for solving complex problems in drug discovery, cryptography, and
Okay. A group of youths from Kogi State has raised 100 million naira to purchase the presidential nomination form of President Bola Tinubu ahead of the 2027 general election, describing the move as a demonstration of their support for the president's leadership and reforms. The 100 million naira dummy check was presented to the national chairman of All Progressive Congress, Prof. Netawe Yuwatda, by the governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Ododo, in Abuja on Monday. Although Tinubu has yet to officially declare his intention to contest the 2027 presidential election, many party leaders and supporters believe he will seek re-election. Speaking to journalists while displaying the 100 million naira check, the APC national chairman described the occasion as one of the happiest moments for the party. Mr. Wows. Really, this story, I see support here. I see loyalty in this particular story. I see the fact that the Kogi State youths are trying to be loyal to the president. They are trying to, support him. I think they must have probably benefited many good things during his leadership. In his leadership, he's still in power. Okay, but then I think there's a bigger question there. There is a bigger picture in this whole story. Yes, because I think somebody like me now, I'm going through a lot. I'm going through a lot, so let me just speak for myself, and I believe that people out there too might be seeing this story in one way or the other in a time like this where you're battling with insecurity, you're battling with food prices, fuel, and many things. Then the people will be asking themselves, where is this money coming from? 100 million naira to purchase a farm. 100 million naira to purchase just a form. And then the president himself has not even come out to say, I want to contest for election again. In as much as this is a support, in as much as this is a loyalty kind of move and all that, I think political timing also matters.
It does.
It does matters a lot. So what do you have to say about that, Mr. Wells?
Well, if you want me to go first, I will, but I would have loved ladies first, as to say.
Oh,
but
really?
I think this exposes a lot of, you talked about loyalty. I would like to call it sucking up to the person in power. And this is coming from a Kogi state, a state that is befuddled with a lot of insurgency, befuddled with a lot of crime and criminality. And we've been seeing what has been happening with successive administration, from the previous one to Governor Ododo, and how EFCC is still chasing the former governor whose name has eluded me right now. So this is a state that needs more to be done. When you look at, there was a picture that I saw online of people comparing pictures of this dummy check to pictures of schools in the state. And when you look at the dilapidated buildings the children are staying in, but we continue to see that people are interested in political position, are interested in supporting people that would go into political position because of the personal gain that they will get at the end of the day. So, I mean, anybody can support anybody at the end of the day. This is the political theater that we are seeing, and these are theatrics that we are seeing being performed by elements of within the All Progressive Congress. And they say that President Tinubu has not even declared his intention. He doesn't need to declare intention. They have declared intention for their president to run. And who would say that Tinubu would actually refuse and say he's not going to run? I'm not sure if he's going to accept it or going to decline it and say that go and use it to do what is actually needful. That is expected from an elderly statesman like President Tinubu, who is also a Democrat, like he claimed to be, and his supporters also have touted him to be. So he should tell them to go and use the money. He has enough money. His wife already donates billions into the country to do a lot of things for the country. So they should tell them that to go and look for that one school or schools in the one local government and spend the money on. Do the right thing to for the right people in that state. But we are seeing that people continue to worry more about 2027. because of selfish gain. We never think about governance in this country. Our own focus is about what can I gain, what can I get for the people. And this is also a wake-up call, because the chairman of APC said it is the happiest moment in APC. You can gather all the political supporters in the country. You can gather all state governors at the end of the day. But if you're not governing right, something is going to happen. And when it happens in this country, we'll all pay dearly for it.
Exactly. Yes, we all pay dearly for it. I really got that point.
First of all, 100 million. I like to calculate. I'm
100 into 100.
Yes,
1 million in 100
places. 1 million.
Do you know how many
100
places will solve their issue? Do you know how many schools? How many hospitals?
It's not pocket change at all. Not pocket change at all. In a country where our minimum wage is how much?
70,000 what they release for the Ministry of Education.
That if you look at this money and you calculate it very well, I'm not good with calculation, but I'm calculating in real time. Yes, because that is like, that amounts to, like, if we count it, let's say 1,400 months of minimum wage.
Exactly.
That is what we are calculating. And 100 years of work
to purchase a farm
for one person.
Exactly.
When we are calculating minimum wage. And then we see our youth come out to raise this kind of money in a country where we are complaining about youth.
Where are the youth getting it from?
So
exactly.
That's where it becomes very uncomfortable. My unpopular opinion now fly in because I'm just looking. Are these truly? I'm asking this way. Are these truly roots youths?
Can you imagine?
I'm asking the question. Are we sure that these are? Because I'm not sure grassroots youths can contribute this large sum
of money.
Or
don't underestimate them.
Okay, we can never.
Don't underestimate politically inclined, motivated
people,
supported.
What can I say? But I'm just looking because there's the City Boys, whatever, and those groups have that group have money. So I'm looking. Okay, is it an elite backed mobilization?
Is it a contribution?
Youth, you get so coming out putting that banner as youth in Kogi State, because in Nigeria. Nigerian politics, I always like to say optics matters. It really, really matters. And you talked about timing and
political timing
too. That political timing too can be symbolic here. It may mean, and they already mentioned something that relates to ties to that, because people want to get something out of something. People will not invest in what they will not get returns from. So it may look to me, maybe allegedly the Kogi youth are investing in their future.
Okay.
So yes, this is their future.
Should you take it back? All right.
Are you investing in your future?
All right, let's now move to the next story. A fire outbreak at the old terminal of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on Monday disrupted flight operations, stranded passengers, and triggered diversions, compounding travel delays and operational uncertainty across airlines. At least 6 persons were hospitalized after the fire outbreak engulfed Terminal 1 of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. The incident began around 3 p.m. as passengers saw plumes of smoke billowing from sections of the terminal. Ambulances were seen evacuating injured airport users to the airport's hospital, and emergency responders battled to contain the blaze. Beyond the injuries recorded, several pieces of operational equipment and airline properties were destroyed in the fire. The affected terminal parts of the airport's older infrastructure and currently undergoing renovation had earlier been embarked for total remodeling following the approval of 712 billion naira by the Federal Executive Council for its rehabilitation. About 12 staff members were reportedly trapped inside the control tower when the incident started. They were later rescued using a construction crane. Since the fire affected control tower operations, aircraft could neither land nor take off following the incident. Well, let's take a look at the video. Well, we can see what's happened there in the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. I mean, this one really concerns me a lot. It has to do with human lives, their health, and all that. It is heartbreaking. But the question I keep asking is that when can we start taking preventive measures against all of these? I mean, this is an airport. It is not just a building. It is not just any kind of building. It is not just any kind of house. This is where multiple people are operating every single day. The staff, passengers, many people, name it. This is where they operate from. This is where they carry out their activity and all that. And when things like this happens, it delays people's flights, their plans, and then talking about internationally, it doesn't speak well about us here. We will not have that confidence to boast about our airlines in this country. I think it's high time we start taking preventive measures to anything that will cause a fire outbreak like this, because next time maybe we will not be even lucky to rescue 6 people if things like this continue to happen. I mean, we see that 6 people were rescued, injured rather. They sustained injury. They are not dead. We might not be that lucky next time. And then the staffs too were rescued with a crane. I thank God that they're able to rescue the staffs. But then I think it's high time we just do the things that are needful and stop. You know, we talk about policy. We talk about money to do this and that for innovation and all of that. It's high time we start doing things. Let things move fast the way it should be and not slowly. When we talk about education, things about it are very slow. We talk about security, taking measures, taking good steps, taking action about security in Nigeria. It's always slow. Talking about safety in places like airports, hospital, and marketplaces, getting burnt down and all that. Things about it are usually, they don't take action. The actions are very slow. And these things keep taking people's life. I think it's high time we start looking forward to the things that will prevent. We have technologies. We talk about innovation here. We have tools that can help prevent all this fire outbreak and all that. I think it's high time we start putting all those things in place to avoid all this.
Well, indeed. First of all, I'd say that thank God that we do not have any life loss.
Exactly.
In that incident, because it could have been fatal for the country. And it also happened at the old terminal. And we understand that the federal government has already allocated about 700 billion naira plus for the renovation, and the old terminal is being stripped of all of its design and to bring it down to the carcass before they can then reshape and redesign the place. So the incident is very worrying. The cause of it has not been determined. The investigation is still ongoing as at now, and we'll continue to monitor the development as we get to understand what exactly caused it. Because, like you said, this is worrying for the country. This is the aviation sector, and it happens at Nigeria's most important state in the country and the commercial capital of the state. A state like Lagos should not have only one airport, one international airport. We see important cities like the New York, like Beijing and some other, even Moscow has 2 airports, 2 functional airports. So planes were actually diverted to other places in Nigeria because they couldn't land for those period of time that they were actually trying to save. That also affects economic viability and activity in the state. When people understand when something happened, the state is entirely closed down. We shouldn't have one incident happen somewhere and the entire state cannot function properly at the end of the day. So if we have one incident in one state, then we can divert the attention to another state. Turkey as well, in the last few years, also created another airports in their own capital so that they can be able to divert air traffic between one airport to the other and ease the flow of traffic within our system. And just like you also mentioned, when we talked about technologies, how did it happen that it wasn't caught on time?
Exactly.
Was it an electrical issue? Was it a sabotage? Because a lot of things were being put in place and also stripped away after the construction process was also going. So perhaps it was the reconstruction process that actually caused the fire. We have no idea right now. But we need to begin to talk about expanding our network when it comes to having more than one viable international airports in Nigeria. I can boldly say that Lagos Airport still remains one of the international airports that is only viable, that people want to land in. Because when you go to Lagos, because most of the economic activity, except you're going for political reasons in Abuja, or you want to see the ministers or associate with the federal government, when it comes to the state alone, when it comes to economic activity, people want to land in Lagos. So we need to begin to see how can we expand. And I understand there's another airport being built by the state government, but that is also taking time for that to materialize. But at the end of the day, how can we manage crisis better? And I'm happy that no lives was lost. But we saw the crane as it's being used to rescue
the
people.
staffs. Yes.
I'm even happy that it was there, because at the end of the day, the crane is not there. They're trying to fix it. It was broken down yesterday, and there's actually a hospital for them to take those people to. So we appreciate when things are being done, and I worry that if this sort of incidents happen in another airport in Nigeria, we might not have that swift response.
I think that's the most positive thing about this news, that they were rescued.
Yes.
That's the positive thing about this news. It just showed that there was coordination with airport authorities. I think was it last week or some weeks back, something in the, I don't know, similar incidents happened in the airport, and then people were rescued. So I just like the fact that we are now moving from that phase of slow response to quicker response. And like I said again, that is the most positive thing about this news. But then talking about our dilapidated buildings, especially when it comes to aviation infrastructures, they are always aging. They are always, they're always having electrical faults. They're always having one issue or the other here. So I just feel like all those money, because I know that money has been rolled out for the renovation of this airport of recent, up to I think billions.
Yes.
It's not always small money. It's billions. I think 712 billion. Was it last week I saw this? 712 billion have been rolled out for rehabilitation of this place. What are we using all this money for? Is it just to fence and make it look beautiful? Or what?
For aesthetics.
According to the Minister of Aviation, Professor Kiyamo, he mentioned that the building itself is being stripped down to the carcass. So you only have the pillars, the structure. They're going to remove everything, and so they'll reshape it, redesign it, and also the road network that leads to the airport, so people won't have to drop at a far distance. So the road network is going to be dualized. It's going to be upper and then the lower side, so people can move in, and the ring road can turn around, and you can drop your goods, drop your luggage, and move back go out of the premises. But serious transformation is what we expected from this. A lot of people have questioned the money that has been invested in it, and it could actually have been used to do better things in the country. But this is the first line, this is the first contact for any Nigerian coming back to the country, or any foreigners coming into the country. This is their first point of contact, and when you have a standardized and also technologically advanced airport that makes traffic movement
very
easy for people to go through. We won't have the system where we're talking about, okay, we need to look at manual reporting, manual documentation. Just go there. I have been fortunate to be in countries where I didn't have to interface with anybody. Just go to the computer, put your thumb in there. It captures your thumb print. It captures your data. It captures your passport as well, and you can move in swiftly. You don't even have to worry. And that was the height of COVID-19. And so now that we don't even have that, how can we ensure that our system is actually very good? The system is being improved. We must recognize that in Lagos and in Abuja, but we want that as well for other airports in the country. Let's have more international airports in Nigeria, so that we won't have this issue. For Lagos as well, the other airport that is being built, let it happen in time, so that people can actually have alternatives when things like this happen. Imagine the entire place was burnt down.
Just imagine the amount of lives that we lose.
Thank God it was the old one.
Exactly.
That is being rebuilt, or it's been stripped of its entire structure that was born. What if it was the new one, or the fire extended to the new one and everything burnt down? What is Lagos going to do? We'll divert to Abuja, we'll divert to Ogun State.
I think that is just to tell them that, okay, this is what went wrong after their investigation. This is what went wrong here.
This is what you should do better.
Right.
Exactly.
New one.
Is it Nigeria that they do that?
Because the old one.
No, is it Nigeria that they go and look at what they
should do better, really.
Because that is a very critical part of the airport that was burnt down. The control.